conservative point of view to black issues. His mission: to provide a forum for honest discussions about social issues without the liberal lapdogs shutting down the discussion. Broadcasting from the American Truth Project Studios in beautiful Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. This is Conservative Nation with your host, Jermain Botsio.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Conservative Nation with me, your gracious host, Jermain Botsio. And on today's show, as you guys know, it is Tuesday. And I got the one, the only mind of Jamal, straight up killer from down south. How you doing, sir?
What's up, Jermain? And hopefully there'll be no more killing of little babies. Hopefully states have that right. What's going on?
Everything going real nice. Brother just got off work. I'm tired, but let me tell you something. My mouth ain't tired. I can tell you that. My mouth ain't tired. My rest of my body may be tired, but my mouth ready to run. There's so much we need to talk about, and let me tell you, we about to get it in. We about to get it in. We certainly are. I want to go ahead and commend you on your camera. Your camera look real nice. Let me tell you something real nice. Show your nice complexion there. Look at ya. I don't know what you're using, brother. What is that? Cocoa butter, alkaline water, gosh darn a Voss. What is it?
Shea butter, and I actually wiped my camera off. Look, my camera been so daggone dusty. That's why.
I feel it. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys do us a favor. We gonna need your help. Look at how bad Facebook trying to sit there and give us some censorship. It's not right. All right, it's not right.
Yeah, I heard they're gonna stop people from doing podcasts from Facebook.
Yep. It's coming. I knew this for a very long time. They're trying to stop information. That's why they got the Disinformation board. They know that most folks now don't go to the media to get their news. They go to podcasts, right? So they're saying, hey, those guys aren't informed as us. They're not getting the Luciferian information and dispensing it like us. No. We're going to have to stop them. And the thing is, podcasts are more popular than the news. The news can't compete because the news, they have to follow a rigid code of secrecy where, the podcaster seems pretty genuine. Go ahead. What you about to say?
Jermain, when I heard that, I said they are trying to make sure Democrats win.
Mm-hmm.
There is no excuse to stop doing podcasts on Facebook other than censorship.
Yep. There's no reason at all. And that's something that I've been talking about for a very long time. Folks got to start getting what the picture is. The information is something that they can't control now. Back in the day, they were able to control the information. Everybody got their news from one outlet. Back in the day, it used to be 3-4 outlets to get news. And it came in a newspaper. So they made up a lie in the newspaper, right? And now so many people are awake to the BS that's going out that now, the Luciferians say we need an information czar, somebody who will go down and make sure that we throw charges on people putting out this information. It's the craziest thing in the world. It's communist to the core. I want folks to understand this. It's communist to the core. Democrats are big on authoritarianism. I want you guys to understand. And I've been speaking about the slow tiptoe to totalitarianism, and you're seeing it right here. You're seeing it. Pretty soon you won't be able to wipe your butt without big sister out there trying to look at what you're doing. You know what? I changed it from big brother to big sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you think about it, look, they got transgenders there. Kamala running something is big sister. And she crazy, let me tell you. Hit that like button, make sure you do share. Brother, I'm ready to rumble.
And speaking of Rumble, what's up to my Rumble Rebels? But yeah, when I heard that Facebook was doing that, I'm like, that makes no sense other than the censorship.
Mm-hmm.
They must know Republicans are going to win, and they going to be in front of Republicans to face what they've done.
Yeah, they know it. They absolutely know it.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you do share. First one up here, ladies and gentlemen. First one up. I would like to speak to you guys about a Missouri man who is seeking to change family law in this state. In this country right now, they are on the move to destroy what we call the nuclear family. I want folks to understand that. The nuclear family is at stake. Republicans out there, most of them don't give a rip. They don't. The only time they give a rip is when it's actually affecting them. This is an issue that is a winning issue that Republicans need to be on board right now, especially when this verdict comes down, this Roe v. Wade. You need to be on board. This Missouri man has worked all his life. He's not a felon. Hasn't been to jail. The only thing he has done is divorce his wife. And from divorcing his wife, he became a weekend dad because of a law preventing him from seeing his son. Do you understand that? I want folks to understand this is a conservative issue. If you care about traditional family and family, I want to go ahead and run this when it come back. I want to speak about it. Make sure you do share. Here we go.
All month, 5 on Your Side is focused on mental health. And this morning, we take a look at the impact of divorce on children and families and how one Missouri father hopes to change that. He wants to change a law that prevented him from seeing his son.
Every day of his life has been documented now.
Journaling is therapy for Father Mark Ludwig.
Him doing his chores of his laundry.
Writing memories down is how he ensures his son can reflect on their time together. Because time isn't something they've always had.
Shortly after my son was born, he was moved without my knowledge, and I spent 204 days tracking him down and getting access to him. And after that time, I was relegated to basically the equivalent of an every other weekend visitor.
That's why he has made it his mission to change family court laws. He launched the nonprofit Americans for Equal Shared Parenting.
It affects everybody.
Last year alone, he traveled to 24 states trying to pass legislation.
I was just surprised. I would think this would only going to take a year or two to get passed. We've been working in Missouri now since 2016.
I believe that fathers have been somewhat discriminated against in the past.
Representative
Somewhat.
Jim Murphy
That
of
guy
South
need
St.
to
Louis
ass
County is the
whooping.
sponsor of
Somewhat.
House Bill 1974.
There is almost a presumption that the woman should have custody, and that you have to prove that the woman has done something wrong in order to
You hear that,
to
ladies?
equalize that. And it shouldn't ever be that way.
Family law attorney
Shouldn't.
Martha Moran says Missouri courts are already striving for 50-50 in custody cases.
Not, just winning custody. The goal is shared custody.
Moran says the state's laws were updated in 2012 to reflect that goal.
It's a lie.
Research shows that children benefit from having contact significant, if not equal, contact with both parents.
Look
Our
at
problem
her
with this
significant
bill is
or
it tries to give a one-size-fits-all approach to something
they
very
need to get women
complex.
out of the
The court is
court.
going
I'm
to-
sorry.
Attempt to give as much time as possible to each parent, but sometimes it's just not possible.
So many areas of our society
It's a
are
lie.
affected by this. High school dropout rates, drug rates, you read of all these problems, and almost all of those, half of those problems would go away if you would get 50-50 equal shared parenting and allow dads
Absolutely.
back into their child's lives.
And this morning, the shared parenting bill is making its way through the House and the Senate, but it may stall again with just 2 weeks left of this session.
Absolutely. That's why they need to get women out of the court. Jamal, this is absolutely outrageous. It really is. Men, when they go to court, it's almost as if they have to prove that they're capable of even having a kid, which is bizarre. It really is. Before the nonsense happens in the relationship, you get to see your kid every day. And then when something happens, God forbid, a lot of the times women understand that the law is on their side. So they play a game of what I call grand theft child. You sleep and you blink your eye. By the time you blink your eye, her tippy toe is inside that court filing on you. And there's a lot of guys out there who have dealt with this. Weekend dad warrior every other week equals 4 days a month for the court to extract 66 cents on each eligible child support dollar. It's a crazy deal. What do you think here, sir?
Jermain, when it comes to this, fathers should have just as much rights as the mother. But Jermain, I'm going to say this. Men, we have to start choosing better women.
And let me stop you there because you sound like the women that we roast on here for saying something like that. It's not when there's a law, Jamal, the laws are unfair.
Let me get finished.
Okay, go ahead.
We have to start choosing better women, and by choosing them, letting them know up front what our standards are. A lot of men, when we come into relationships,
I retract what I said. Go ahead, sir.
A lot of men, when we come into relationships, okay, how can I impress her? How can I let her feel I'm this? No. Sit her down and tell her your expectations. Tell her your expectations when it comes to family. Tell her, listen, we have kids, there's no splitting it up. If you can't deal with that, walk out the door. And then if she get cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, start having your little bit of money in there on the side. If you start noticing she getting crazy, have you a little small bank account so you can get your attorney. So from day one, if she started talking about walking out the door, got the lawyer, pick the child up from school, walk out the door. Now, different states are different. Here in North Carolina, until the courts say y'all have joint custody, until the courts say one have custody over the other, you both have custody. So if you see your child out there playing outside, you can go pick your child up, drive off, and if she does not have custody, and sit there and say, no, I'm not bringing them back. I got my attorney. Nope. Because men have done that in this state, and they wanted that changed. Yes, each state needs to address that. Men have to stop being scared to speak up.
There you go.
Stop being worried about women looking at you. You ain't carry that baby. That ain't. Women carry that baby. Hey, that's your job. Don't like it? Talk to God. But that child you didn't create by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're not Earthworm Jim. You don't create babies on your own. And men have to be firm.
They have
and we have to stay. When I say firm, Jermain, too many men, and you know it. Oh, baby. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Let that woman know that family's not being split up.
Yep. They have to be strong and firm in their presence. And you're absolutely right. And I speak about this, Jamal. I'm glad you brought it up, and I want to apologize. I want to apologize for stopping you and going off. I need to apologize. Sometimes, my mind gets screwy. All right. So I need to apologize for that. But you brought up some very, very good points here. And let me tell you something. Men do need to have a standard. They need to present that standard. Too many men don't have a standard. And the reason why is that when men express a standard, for some reason, they get scared of females out there. They absolutely do. Women have a standard. A lot of them don't date short guys. They don't date men who work at certain places. They don't date men who don't have a job. They have standards. But a lot of men don't have standards. All she got to do is bring her vagina. So men have to understand that you have to have standards in life to succeed. You absolutely do. And it comes down to your woman as well. You have to have standards with her. You absolutely have to. Number one, you have to speak about the child support deal. You have to ask her, hey, are you for child support? A lot of them will lie. They will. Gentlemen, as gentlemen out there, they'll lie. And no, child support is real bad. And then when things happen, they run the child support. So you have to ask, got to be honest with her. Ask her about that. What are her, things on that? What about splitting up the children, after something happens? Is it 50-50? How does she think about this? A lot of them will play that game as well, but still, you still have to ask so that she understands that, hey, this guy here, if I act and behave in this certain way, he's already gave me the inclination that he thinks that these type of women who do this are bad. You understand? She has to understand this, right? Just like women have their own standard, which everybody should. But men have to understand that. And women who are doing this as well, men got to stop dating baby mamas like this. If you're dating a woman and she's playing games with the guy and he can't see, you see the kid more than he does, there's something wrong. And I'm letting you know, gentlemen out there. And last but not least, I have to point this out here. Every single baby mama will tell you she didn't do anything wrong. The guy just ran. There's not one that I've met. Right hand to God, one that I've met. Yeah, I'm very honest. One that I've met that said, you know what? I was a bitch. I did this. I did that. Right? It's almost like every baby mama is a saint. And any baby mama who speak like that, gentlemen, you better be aware. She's a BMT in the making. I'm letting you know. Most men want to be in their children's lives. And what's going on right now is that a lot of men are betas. They were raised by their mama. They're betas. When it comes to controversy, dealing with adversity in this level, a lot of them will run from it. I want folks to understand, when you have to deal with a woman, she has full control of the child. She says, hey, you can't go there. You can't do this. Hey, you bring a BI itch around her. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Right? When men have to deal with that, and they have to deal with a court-appointed fool who tells you when you can see your child and when you can't. Let me tell you something. That is serious. I want folks to understand. Jamal wouldn't be very happy if he had to go to court and there's a court-appointed fool telling him, hey, Jamal, you know, based upon how I feel today and the research that I have that has come from the liberals, I believe you should have your children 6 days a month. I don't think he would be very happy about that. Last words here, sir.
Number one, like I said, put money to the side. And if you have to take a loan, pay your attorney. Don't get a court appointed. Pay your attorney. When it comes to this right here and it comes to the kids, Jermain, like I said, men, if you are dating a woman and she got kids and you don't, keep it moving.
Yep. And I tell guys that too.
If she got kids, you got kids. So when you go to McDonald's, y'all buy the kids something like, hey, you know, we gonna meet up because, you know, if y'all are dating. But you let it be known. Did you buy you went to Burger King, did you buy Junior and Rod or something? No, I didn't have enough. So you bought your kids something to eat, but didn't buy mine. I got food in the refrigerator. Get you up off that bed, grab your kids, and walk out the door.
Yep.
Men have to start making women know we have standards that they're gonna abide by. And if they can't, guess what? If you ain't got kids, you young, you're a hard worker.
You should be number one.
Like my boy Kevin Samuels say, you an average man.
Yep.
You making $42,000, $43,000.
Working hard at the plant.
If you ain't got no kids, got your own place, got your own car, paying your own bills, and after you got about $200-$300 left over, you have a pick of the choice.
Yep.
But you have to make sure your standards are known, and don't let every piece of hindpart walk past you got to jump on.
Yep.
Don't
get
take
rid of that.
your condom off until you put a ring
100%.
on her finger.
100%. Baby, gotta stop making baby mamas.
Yes.
You have to stop. And the thing is, I want the gentleman to understand. I know she's going to say, hey, you know, we don't have to get married. All these women nowadays understand that they can have it all and then kick you away. They understand. I want the gentleman to understand. So you have to be able to, you know, use your brain. You have to. You have to. Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys do us a favor. Go ahead. You have something to say, sir?
A woman didn't just become cankerous, evil, biatchy overnight. You saw those signs. And let me talk about men. Men, you saw those signs. She is gonna be a baby mama.
Yep.
If you sit here and get her pregnant while y'all was dating.
Yep.
So when you see the signs, put a sock on the pickle.
Yep. And the thing is too, the women won't tell you, but if you make her a baby mama, she'll forever hate you. I want the men to understand that the women won't tell you this. I'll tell you. They will forever hate you because everywhere they go, they're illegitimate. And after they have their child and all that happiness go away, and they start speaking to other legitimate married women, they start feeling bad. Ask the baby mamas out there. You can play all day like that stuff don't affect. Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will. When you're sitting in a real family, you'll see a traditional family, and then you got a baby mama and children. Or if you're at the soccer game, right? and you're speaking to all the other soccer moms. And you say, yeah, you know, Tim is out there working. Oh, yeah, you know, Jamal's out there working really hard, right? And then they come to you, right? Yeah, you ain't got nobody working for you except for the government and your bastard children and don't feel well. Yeah, so when I bring stuff like that, yeah, go ahead, Jamal, show 'em.
If you ain't gonna lock her up, don't knock her up.
There you go.
If you knock her up, lock her up. If she ain't worth locking up, then you better not knock her up.
So I just like putting that out there. It's psychology for the men. After a while, after women are into emotion, but this is logical. After a while, all the emotions start fading away. She got to deal with real life. And then she got to go and speak to other women. And she'll start figuring out that she's on the lower class. And I want the baby mamas to understand, you're not at the same class as a married woman. I'm sorry.
Nope.
And it hurts them to hear this, but you're not. That's why it was very important back in the day for the men to make right of the woman, especially if you got her pregnant, because most men knew that they don't want to take care of another man's child. And men nowadays still don't. But you see the family structure and how dysfunctional it is. It's crazy. Moving forward, I need to show you guys this video. It's absolutely crazy. It's a fight at a Family Dollar. Everybody and their mama is sharing this. And let me tell you, it's some mamas fighting. Take a look.
Don't play with her. Don't play with her. Just beat that hoe. Oh, she got a bat. Watch out. She got a bat. Oh. This shit for real. Big she macing her. Watch out. This shit going up. Let me steal my shit and go. Girl, steal it. Let me go.
Ain't this crazy? Ain't this crazy? Man, oh man. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you got to think about this? Ain't this crazy? You hear the guy in the background. He's amping it up. This is the type of culture that is in the inner city. Ain't it crazy? We got some more folks in here. Take a look at this. Fight at the Family Dollar. Two moms. One got some crazy red hair. Take a look.
You scared. She running. She's scared. She's scared. Be like, get her. Get her. Get her. Be scared. You scared. You scared. She running. She's scared. She's scared. Be like,
hit the wrong button.
Get her. Get her. Be like, get her. Keep on. Get her. Get her. You playing. Beat her. Keep on. Don't play with her. Don't play with her. Just beat that hoe. Oh, she got a bat. Watch out. She got a bat. Oh. This shit for real. Big she macing her. Watch out. This shit going up. Let me steal my shit and go.
This is just horrible.
Messing up. See, that every Family Dollar, Dollar General, Dollar Tree I've ever seen is ghetto. Even the cashiers that work there slow as hell. I don't know what's going on with them. You know, maybe the weed in the air, Maybe the fentanyl. I don't know. Brother, what do you think about this? 2 black behemoths, 2 black hyenas, 2 black wildebeests fighting in the jungle. What do you think?
People are really getting sick and tired of the black community, especially many in the black community. Every time you turn around, these ignorants, because those are straight ignorants, are always grabbing the attention. And that's what they think black folk act like. You ask the average person, what do you think black women act like? Oh, you know, girl, don't let me tell you and fuss you out. You ain't gonna talk to no black woman. Oh, loud, boisterous. How do you think the average black man act? Ignorant.
Yep.
Can't control his emotions.
Yep.
People,
almost like an animal.
Our community paints themselves in a bad light and then want everybody else to view us as Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King and Betty X. Well, that show won't Betty X and Coretta Scott King out there fighting. That was 2 niggas.
They squaring up like guys too.
Nigga asses, niggas for men, nigga asses.
Nigga asses. Negresses. You know, this type of behavior is the main reason why the black community has a very big problem. Now, I speak about this all the time, Jamal. The black women in the black community raise most of the children.
Yep.
They get this type of behavior from their mama. I don't make this stuff up. You know, it gets to a point where you have to stop blaming you have to blame the person who's there. You know, no matter what the circumstance is, the person is there, has the supreme control and has the influence, no matter how that other person left. You understand that, Jamal, right?
Yep.
So with that personal responsibility that you have with that child, you should ensure that you raise that child correctly and you act and behave in a manner that's conducive. You would agree with that, Jamal, right?
If you cannot afford to have a child, zip up your pants and keep a lock on it. And ladies, if you can't afford to have a child, take them overstretched yoga pants you got on that you try, wore them out in the middle of your legs.
Oh, since you brought
take
that
the
up.
weave out and just say, we can't afford to have a child. Wait till you know you married to have a child. And we can avoid wildebeest fighting. Oh, blimey, mate. Then we got the 2 African heifers. Look at them. They're fighting.
I'm telling you. I had a clip a long time ago on my old podcast called The Coon Files. And I had a segment where I showed Negroes fighting in supermarkets and things of that nature. And then it would have the Serengeti music with the gosh darn monkeys in the background. Like, I'm telling you, man, hundreds of thousands of hits before they took it down. But I want to show you this. Since you were speaking about overstretched yoga pants, I got in trouble by a lot of how can I say, black folks and women. They were very upset. Now, I didn't put this post together. All I did was share, okay? And this is of Stacey Abrams. You see Stacey Abrams looking like a linebacker here? She looked like she just ate the last piece of chicken and headed to the bathroom. Look at her. Look at outrageous.
Them overstretched thighs.
Yeah. So I put ankles are hollering for days, LOL, right? That's what I put down. You know how many people were upset with that?
Well, her ankles look like they are
my guy Disick Turner, he said, shout out to Victory Right, and he got this from somebody else. He said, you can see why the Democrat women are so angry. Look at Stacey Abrams' big old hippo legs. If those legs could, they be hollering for dear life.
Them shoes is hollering for dear life.
I'm telling you. And then people were hitting me up. I can't believe, Jermain, you're body shaming. You know what I said? I said, kick effing rocks.
Daggone right. She fat.
My goodness, great. That's the main reason why we're in the mess we're in. Because nobody can be honest. And especially with the women. That's why I want the men to be honest with them. I do. You know how many women I meet that tell me, hey, man, speaking to you is refreshing. You know why, right? Because I'm not BSing them. I want the women to understand. I'm not BSing them. I'm not at all. I'm very upfront and direct. How I talk to y'all is how I talk to everybody. Ask Jamal.
Yep.
I don't like beating around the bush. And when you're honest with these folks here, especially with women, they come to reality fast. They do. Instead of, placating like a lot of guys do. Being this big ain't good. It ain't.
Ain't healthy. No, it's not.
And for somebody to say, hey, them ankles are hollering for days. You know how many people have lost weight and got into the right health or got into a better position from what we call constructive criticism? Yeah, being criticized. I want folks to understand. I wouldn't give a rip if somebody was clowning the way I look, the way I talk, right? I've been clowned from here to Pakistan. People talk about my missing hairline, right? Uncle Thomas Soros was clowning me on my missing hairline. Did I kick him out? No. I actually agree with him. I said, gosh darn it, been gone for years, brother. Can I get yours? You get what I'm saying? How black I am, how big my lips are. You understand how big my eyes and nose are. You have to be comfortable in the skin you're in. And if anybody is out here using body shaming and all that, there's something wrong with you. You're insecure about yourself. You are. Somebody should be able to sit there and say these type of things to you, and you should be able to be calm about it and move forward, or be able to roast, right? You be able to throw it back at them, right? Which a lot of folks nowadays don't know how to do. The art of roasting is gone for some reason. I don't know why, but it's gone. I could roast your socks off. It's not that hard. Last words here, sir.
Go, fat, go. I know a girl who butt hang low. She flabby. Flabby, fat, flabby, she flabby. Flabby, fat, flabby. If she step on your foot, she a mashed toe. Good golly, Miss Marley. You look like a hog. Good golly, Miss Marley. You look like a hog. Ooh, you better get to running because it's much too late to jog.
Yep.
I'm telling you, that's exactly what she looked like.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, Eddie Murphy. That's right, Awesome. Now, that was Eddie Murphy back 1981 when he was picking at fat folk. I remember when you was fat, people joked on you. It happened. So for somebody to call you out and say, Jermain, your body
I swear to goodness,
Jermain,
it's ridiculous.
Your body I want to cuss, but I ain't gonna. So I'll wait till we get down to the abortion thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna let it fly there. Go ahead.
But Jermain, body shaming is why a certain community was heavily hit by the what's wrong flu.
Mm-hmm.
Diabetes,
Yep.
heart disease, high blood pressure.
Yep. And let me tell you something. Those are the three main diseases folks are getting and dying off of here in America. Seriously, the average woman weighs more than the man. That's ridiculous. It really is. I want the women to understand how ridiculous that is. Get mad at me all you want, but we are about logic. I'm not into your feelings. I'm not. I love logic. Ask my wife. Yeah, I hurt her feelings sometimes too. I'm very honest. I'm very honest. Sometimes to a fault. So that's what it comes down to. Let's go ahead and move forward. Next one up. And before I do that, I see I got a buzz here. I want to go ahead and give a shout out. Buzz 7 minutes ago. My goodness gracious. Shout out to my guy, Robert Marvin donated, took our $10 challenge on PayPal. Shout out to the good man, Robert Marvin. Shout out to you. Absolutely. Says, y'all are rock stars. Absolutely. Thank you so much, brother. Next one up, I want to show you guys a traffic stop. It deals with a white cop, which is a man, and a black woman, who is the driver. She's getting a ticket for a traffic infraction. The officer is asking her to sign this ticket, and she's doing something kind of weird. I want you guys to take a look at this when it come back. I want to get your take on this. Who is in the wrong in your eyes? Do you think it's the officer, or do you think it's the driver who's getting this infraction? Here we go. Make sure you share.
And this is not saying you're innocent. It's not. Court date for impeding the flow of traffic is going to be June the 6th at 9. Just need your signature, okay? Sign. This is not saying you're innocent. It's not saying you're guilty. It's just saying that you understand what the citation is for and what the court date is.
I'm not signing it, but I'll take the ticket. I don't have to sign. I don't have to sign, but I'll take the ticket.
Well, I tell you what, I'll give it to you, but when you come to court, I'll make sure that the judge watches his body-worn camera.
That's fine.
Okay.
But I don't have to sign it. I don't.
You're actually supposed to.
I don't have to sign it.
But it's not worth it to what actually could happen, because you're actually trying to escalate the stop, but it's completely unworth
I'm not escalating anything. I'm glad you got your body cam on.
I actually appreciate the fact that you holding me accountable to be that much better of a professional.
Okay.
There you go.
So you want to snatch it back from me when I reach for it?
No, I'm not reaching my hand to cross the threshold all the way.
Okay, but that's what you just did.
No, you can reach over and grab it. I think that's a fair compromise that you don't want to actually sign for it, because I'm actually explaining to you that I'm not going to cross the threshold for safety reasons.
Okay, so wait a minute. You're literally.
You're trying to go to work.
Your elbow is on my door. You're leaned on my door. You're relaxed.
It's not
crossing the threshold. But what does that mean?
I'm sure you'll Google it.
You in fear? You in fear for your life or something?
Nope.
Okay, so why you being an asshole?
I'm not doing that. You don't have to use that type of language.
Okay, but you're leaning on my door.
So
you're mad because I won't sign the ticket.
Not mad at all. I'm actually in a really great mood.
Okay.
But I appreciate you pointing the fact that I'm very relaxed.
Okay. Can you give me the ticket?
You can actually reach for it.
We gonna sit here all day when you can give me that ticket.
Or I could just put it on the floorboard. Which one would you rather?
Give me that ticket. Okay, but just drop it in.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Bow. So that video is viral right now. A lot of folks are calling him a racist cop. Now, Jamal, let's be quite frank here. We know about what's going on in the streets right now. We know that there's a lot of black folks who hate cops. Number one, they go to sleep hating Mr. Piggy, right? And we also do know that when it comes to law enforcement, a lot of them are apprehensive and they don't want to go to jail and be reprimanded for a pissed off black citizen. What do you think about this here? First of all, do you think that the cop was being petty? There's some folks are putting petty and being a jerk. I mean, do you think he might have been trying to avoid black hair? I mean, what is your take on this here, sir?
Let's get petty. That's what that was. Oh, what? You want to get petty? You want to get petty? Well, I get petty too. Look, that police officer like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired every time you turn around. Y'all getting petty with us. Okay.
he pulled.
Well, okay, throw it in the car.
Mm.
He got petty. And you know what? That's not racist. That's just petty. And you know what? If you want to sit down and you want to drive in NASCAR and be Richard Petty, well, somebody else can drive too. And be Richard Petty too.
Yep.
That's all that
Petty.
was. That officer said she got the petty one today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be petty.
You know, it was because of her you know, her attitude. You know, the cop, you know, it looked like he was pretty, you know, normal and casual with her until she said, you know, I'm not going to sign it. I'm not going to say. He's like, it's almost as if because, you know, these law enforcement officers, they have a type of personality where they're black and white law and order. They're more procedural. You get what I'm saying? They don't think outside the box a lot of times. Everything's procedural. Okay, I do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get what I'm saying? And then you get somebody say, "Hey, I'm not going to do it." It throws them off. Hey, what? This is part of the procedure here. Like, what's going on, right? And so he's throwing off, and also he might have been nice to her for the whole time, and he's getting this pushback. So you say, you know what? You giving me attitude and being petty, I could play the same game here. And that's what it looked like to me. But folks are trying to make it seem like this cop went out of his way to do this to her, which I don't see that at all. I see both of them acting childish. Last words here, sir.
The cop knew she was one of those people that wanted to record him saying something, doing something, so she could run and get him fired.
Yep.
So he said, you know what?
I'm not going to do it today.
I'm going to be petty.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean petty back at you. You know you don't want to reach over here. You know your wrist fat. Okay. That's not racist.
That's not.
Now, if he really wanted to be petty, all he had to do was say, well, ma'am, let me get out here and check your air tires, make sure they're properly engaged.
Let me check all the operations.
Please turn your signal light on so I can check. He drove her crazy. Ma'am, your tent is borderline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's officer's discretion.
Yep, it is.
And you know what my discretion is, ma'am? Here go a razor.
Mm-hmm.
Start scraping.
Yep.
He can do that.
He could have held her for a very long time, Jamal. Say, you know, I think I smell marijuana.
Oh,
hold on. I'm gonna go call the K9. You know, it may take about an hour. They're on another call, so I'm gonna have you just sit here on the curb here, ma'am. Yeah, we got to make sure we look through your vehicle here. There's nothing in there, officer. We don't care. We don't care. All right, you know, and that's the way they play. You think
put
I'm
on
playing?
The curb in the hot sun.
Absolutely. You'll sit your behind there for an hour, and then they'll call their buddy, hey, you go ahead and take your lunch now. Yeah, take your lunch.
And then walk past him with a cool bottle of water.
I'm playing.
On the way, man.
Yeah,
sweating all them pork chops and candy yams and collard greens out of her.
Absolutely. Shout out to Unleashed with Jeremy Hansen. He said, I wouldn't sign them either, but it wasn't racist. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of the times on there, that's why they always have to explain it now. Hey, by signing this doesn't mean you're guilty. Because back in the...
It don't mean you're guilty. It means they gave it to you.
That means that they gave it to you. But some of them were using it as, back in the day, as it being guilty. And a lot of them went to court for it. So that's why they have to explain this. And a lot of people, they just don't trust cops. They just don't. So let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you do share. I want to speak about Minneapolis Police Department, since we're on cops. I had Anthony Allen on the other day, and we spoke about the investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department. A lot of folks are speaking about this right now, and they're talking about doing studies in other metropolitan areas. I want to go ahead and run this when it comes back. I want to get your take on it, because is it really patterns of racism? Or is it, in a sense, cops dealing with the problem where it's at? Here we go.
A state investigation sparked by the murder of George Floyd uncovered a pattern of racist policing at the Minneapolis Police Department.
The 2-year probe found racial disparities in how officers use force, stop, search, and arrest people of color. It also found officers consistently used racist language and secretly surveilled black individuals and groups on social media. Our Reg Chapman's here with the findings and what happens to the department
niggas
now?
and gangs. Reg? What's wrong with
Frank,
that?
The investigation found the police department violated the state's civil rights law and that city leaders did not hold officers accountable for misconduct and discrimination. The numbers tell a story of a police department that uses higher rates of force and more severe force against black people than others. In some cases, the force MPD officers use against black and indigenous people has been deadly. Since 2010, of the 14 people killed by MPD officers, 13 of them were people of color or indigenous. People of color make up 42% of the population in Minneapolis, but make up 93% of all MPD officer-involved deaths between January 1st, 2010 and February 2nd, 2022.
The Minnesota Department of Human Rights finds that the city and Minneapolis Police Department engaged in a pattern or practice of race discrimination in violation of the Minnesota Human Rights Act.
The 72-page report also says MPD officers improperly and excessively use chemical irritants and neck restraints on black people compared to white people. The information was gathered from watching more than 700 hours of body-worn camera footage and more than 2,200 interviews with community members. It's those stories that highlight what the Minneapolis Department of Human Rights calls MPD's race-based policing. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry says this investigation gives the city what it needs to fix what is broken and create better trust between police and community.
Policy shift alone is not going to cut the mustard on this one. It's not going to make the difference that we need. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be a full-on culture shift, and I know
that white man need to go to hell.
Behind me, we are up to the task.
So what's next? The state says it will work with the city to negotiate a court-enforceable agreement to address the long list of problems identified.
And I'm going to stop it right here. So that white man, ladies and gentlemen, Jacob Fry, that skinny white man here, let me tell you, dumb liberal. Look how dumb he looks. All the acne on his face.
He black.
Look at him. Look ridiculous.
I'm looking at the dude in the suit. That news reporter, he's so black you can't even see the suit.
I'm telling you. Look at him. He blacker than me. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. Let me tell you, being blacker than me. Look at him. His face look like it's leather, don't it? That's how black he is. Look at that.
He look like a Crayola.
My goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, midnight has been born. Let me tell you.
All I see is eyes.
My goodness gracious. Sitting there looking like a black blob. Look at him. Big as hell.
Yes.
Only thing you see there is the gosh darn tie. They need to get him off the screen there.
They should not have put that man in that yellow tie.
No, we want appealing folks to do the news, not black blobs, ladies and gentlemen. Gosh darn it. Attack of the black blob. Brother. Brother. So let's talk about this honestly here. Now, the Minneapolis Police Department, they were caught following Negroes online, following what I call gang members, the drill folks. They were also caught surveilling these type of folks as well. And the reason why they were surveilling these folks, in a sense, they were surveilling them, but in a sense, they didn't have the authority to do that because, in a sense, they didn't commit any crimes yet, right? So they didn't have the authority, the inclination, the probable cause to do it, but they know that, hey, you know, Lil Ray and them, we know them niggas. We absolutely do. I don't care if we don't got probable cause, but his big homie and him hanging out with them, they doing something, and they always getting caught. And the police know where the hot spots are. They absolutely do. Folks have to understand something here. When it comes to the inner city, gangs a lot of the times run a lot of the crime that's going on there. These young black men and women are on social media, flashing guns, doing rap videos, talking about people they are killing or people they have killed. So cops follow them online. That's not bad. That's good police work. I want folks to understand. Now, you're asking me, hey, Jermain, so they're only following blacks. How come they're not following Asians and they're not following whites and they're not following Apuinium?
Like that.
I want to let you guys know the reason why, because they don't have a criminal culture like that. You don't see groups of Asians online, right? Gangs of Asians flaunting guns, talking about who they killing in rap music and everything else. You don't see that. You don't see that out of white children, right? You might see a white guy who's dumb as rocks sometimes, right? Or a white girl who don't know black culture, who's just following, trying to do the same thing. You might catch them every once in a while, but it's not a white cultural problem. So you don't see white children doing this. And for good reason. Most of them have higher IQs. They'll say, hey, if I do this, people will know that I'm a criminal and it may put the spotlight on me. Right? Negroes don't think like that. Negroes will sell drugs in front of the cops. I kid you, they sell weed in front of the cops here. You think I'm playing? So it's a total different culture when you got Negroes who are committing crimes in broad daylight. They're selling drugs on the corner of the street. Those are the folks you're going to go after rather than a kid that you can't see inside of their home. Jamal, last words.
The Minneapolis Police Department is doing their job. And what they're doing is making it even harder. What people have to understand, these liberal cities, they get these liberals, they step out there and they're supposed to be Mr. Diversity, Mr. or Mrs. Down with the people. And what ends up happening, it turns horrible. Crime goes up. Murder goes up. And who are usually the victims? Black folk. For this type of stuff here, to go through and accuse them of racism, because they still had to intimidate and lie to get Officer Chauvin. They intimidated that jury. Same thing they trying to do with the Supreme Court justices. Minneapolis police, who is one question, but if you got all those interactions, who is committing more burglary, murder, art vandalism? And then you will see who the police interact more.
You will see. All they have to do is pull out numbers. And when it comes down to numbers, Negroes are like they mama. They don't like the truth. They don't like facts. They're in their feelings. They'll tell you right away. You know, those numbers are racist. That's what they will say. That's how dumb and retarded they are. Somebody put that black guy we were roasting, Black Blob. Apparently, they're saying he looked like Idi Amin. You know who Idi Amin is? Idi Amin. He's a dictator. Hold on.
Oh, you talking about the dude that Forrest Whitaker played?
There you go. Look at black as hell. Let me pull him up. Dark as hell. Let me go ahead and pull him up. I got him right here. Right here. Idi Amin. Right here. Let me go ahead and transition. Look at dark as hell. Look at him. Sure, he's Congo black. That's how black he is. When you Congo black, that's really black. Look how black. You can't even distinguish this man's lips. Ladies, that's how black Idi Amin is. Look at how black he is. This one even worse. Look at him. Yeah. Golly. So we gonna get over his blackness. He gonna be like, Jermain, you're just as black. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
But I ain't boot black.
That's why I say it's hard to be blacker than me. You know, it's hard to be blacker than me. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. You know, so when I see somebody else blacker than me, it's like, gosh darn it, let me clown. You know, God gave me this darkness. He gave you triple darkness. My goodness gracious. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. Make sure you share. Make sure you share. Next one up, I want to speak about a 14-year-old boy. Crazy story coming out of Minnesota. 14-year-old boy rapes and murders his own 10-year-old cousin. I kid you not. Big story that is cracking off across the nation right now. And apparently they're saying the boy's father was also a convicted pedophile. I want you guys to take a look at this when it comes back. I want to speak about it. Here we go.
An 8th grade boy is now charged with murdering a Wisconsin girl in the woods. Investigators today revealed disturbing new details about what happened to 10-year-old Lily Peters. Her body was found in Chippewa Falls this week, not far from her aunt's home. WCCO's Kate Reddix explains what we learned about the suspected killer in court.
The juvenile arrested for the murder of Lily Peters appeared in court via video from a juvenile detention center in Eau Claire. We are not showing his face as part of a court order, and his name was not released. The criminal complaint is also sealed. District Attorney Wade Newell told Judge Lane that the 14-year-old defendant, referred to only as CPB, told law enforcement he went with Lily Peters on the walking trail Sunday with the intent to rape and kill her.
When he did get off of the trail, punched the victim in the stomach, knocked her to the ground, essentially strangled her, hit her with a stick before strangling her to the point of death before he then sexually assaulted her.
The 14-year-old suspect faces 3 felony charges, first-degree murder and 2 charges of sexual assault. 2 of the charges have a maximum penalty of life in prison. The defendant, who law enforcement say knew Lily, has dark hair and kept his head down during the hearing. He did not address the court. His attorneys asked for a $100,000 bail.
He is 14 and an 8th grader. He cannot drive
But the prosecutor wanted a $1 million cash bond, which the judge granted. Multiple law enforcement sat in the gallery of the courtroom. It did not appear any of Lily's family were present.
I try and be the prosecutor I would want if something happened to my daughter. And so that's the way I look at things, and not try to get too emotionally impacted on it, but just be professional and do what is necessary to have justice done.
In Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, Kate Raditz, WCCO 4 News.
The district attorney said that under Wisconsin law, this case will automatically start in adult court, but the defense can ask to have it moved. The next hearing will be on May 5th.
The arrest is a grim reminder of other notorious cases where a child has murdered another child. Eric Smith was just 13 when he lured little Derek Roby into a wooded area in Savona, New York. He strangled the child and beat him to death with a rock.
Look like the problem
Smith
child.
walked
Look at him.
free from prison this year after serving 28 years. Attorney Royal Oakes weighs in on the Lily Peters case.
If a child from 10 to 16 is treated like an adult by the criminal justice system in Wisconsin, they could be looking at life in prison for murder.
The attorney representing the 14-year-old tried to lower the $1 million bond to $100,000, arguing that the suspect is not a flight risk because he's not old enough to drive.
Gosh darn it. I don't care. And this is the guy's gosh darn daddy. Apparently his father is in jail, and he regularly read his father's letters from jail. Now, Jamal, this is absolutely crazy. In my personal opinion, there should be no bond for this boy. None at all. I've seen horrible stories like this where young boys going murder their whole family, murder their mama, all sorts of crazy stuff like this. No way in hell should that boy have any bond at all. At all. Something that serious. I want folks to understand that is serious. And when you're at that age doing something like that, there's something wrong with your mind. And I want folks to understand, normal children don't think about raping and killing another child. They just don't.
Nope.
They don't. But he has something psychologically wrong with him. Remember, I told you 26% of our population are functional psychopathic folks. They're crazy. They are. And he's part of the ones that actually act upon it. What do you think here, Jamal?
Here is the thing that's a fact, Jermain. And you being a counselor in the prison system, you know. A lot of these men who raped and who were serial rapists, their sons turn out to be criminals.
Absolutely. Genetics.
Now, maybe it's because of this and people didn't catch it early, but what that young boy did is inexcusable.
Mm-hmm.
And he should be locked up for life. I'm sorry, he should be locked away.
Should.
If his dad influenced him and messed his mind up, get him some help. Get him some help. But you cannot put that 14-year-old back on the streets.
Mm-mm.
He is going to do this again. He has the taste. He has had the pleasure of violent rape.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's pitiful. But there are some evil children.
There are.
There are some children that will kill, rape. Look at what goes on in Sierra Leone with those young children.
They're taught to be murderers at 10 years old, running around with a handgun.
Yeah. So as bad as we hate it, this little boy needs to be locked up and put away and not gotten out.
Absolutely. What he did to that little girl was absolutely horrific. And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, he calmly spoke to the officers about what he did.
Yep.
So that lets you know the psychopathy in the mind there. I want folks to understand, it lets you know right away. When people behave in this manner, you can speak to psychotherapists all day long. You can speak to counselors. They'll let you know one thing at the end of the day. You cannot cure this type of behavior. You can't. You can mitigate it, right? You could try to minimize the occurrences of the behavior, but you cannot cure that behavior. There's not a rapist out there that says, I'm 100% cure of, taking advantage and raping women. There's not a pedophile out there who says, you know what, I don't have any urge to screw little boys anymore. Their little booties don't appeal to me anymore. They don't do that. They always have to fight the urge. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? So therapists, psychotherapists, counselors, psychiatrists, they all let you know at the end of the day that there's no cure for this behavior. It's only mitigation. And back in the day when people did this, they would kill them. I want folks to understand.
Yes.
This notion that you're going to keep them, keep people like this alive in a facility, right? That's the liberal. That's the liberalism. Yeah, we can rehabilitate them. I don't know any rehabilitated pedophiles or crazy killers like this. Do you, Jamal? Are there rehabilitated ones out there? Last words.
And I don't want nobody standing up in church talking about I just want to tell y'all, I got to get it on my chest. I used to be a rapist and a pedophile, but the Lord has cleaned me up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Clean up over there.
So I want folks to understand, this is not like somebody just killed in the heat of passion or they're killed in the commission of a crime. Things of that nature can be rehabilitated because those are situational life type of situations. But doing this type of behavior, running out and premeditating to rape somebody, to kill somebody in this manner, I want folks to understand, those folks can't be rehabilitated.
No, they can't.
Yeah. In some countries, they still kill them. Yeah, they do. We used to know this. We used to, but since we got a lot more liberal, they give compassion, a lot of compassion to these folks, which I understand. I understand it, right? But they also, give the leeway and excuses. And there's no excuse for something like this. There's none. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you do share. Make sure you do share. Moving forward, I want to go ahead here and let me pull this up here. We're going to get into our topic of the night. The end of Roe v. Wade. Let me tell you.
Yes.
It's coming. It's coming. And some birdie out there leaked it. Liberals are upset. And if I was to guess, I would think Jumanji might have did it. But who knows? I want to go ahead and run this when I come back. I want to speak about it. The end of Roe v. Wade. Right? Women have to do something that is very hard for a lot of them. Be responsible for their own gosh darn body. Right? I mean, it's common sense. You're the only one who can get pregnant. Right? Yeah. Yeah. You reach the guy who has common sense. I know. gosh darn, I can't pull the only two can tangle type of card. No, you can't pull that. No. Make sure you share. Here we go.
Overnight, tensions running high outside the Supreme Court. Barricades erected and protesters gathering, all in response to a new report saying the conservative-leaning court is ready to overturn Roe v. Wade, the landmark ruling that legalized abortion.
It would dramatically upend abortion rights in the United States, really over the last 50 years since Roe v. Wade.
The website Politico reports it obtained documents from a person familiar with the court's proceedings. The documents are labeled a first draft of an opinion in a case challenging Mississippi's ban on abortion after 15 weeks. A ruling in that case is not expected until the summer. But in the draft, Justice Samuel Alito, the opinion's apparent author, writes, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start.
It was circulated in the court as a first draft by Justice Alito in February, dated February 10th. So it is possible there have been some changes since then, but it's our best understanding of at least where the court stood at that time.
The draft opinion also references the 1992 case, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which affirmed Roe's finding of a constitutional right to abortion services. Justice Alito writes, "We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives."
This is a stunning breach of Supreme Court confidentiality, of secrecy of the traditions of the court, and one clearly designed to get a public reaction. It's a crisis for the court because the court's authority comes from the notion that those justices deliberate and come to a conclusion, and they don't play politics. They don't play public opinion.
Overnight, Planned Parenthood tweeting, "Let's be clear, this is a draft opinion. It's outrageous, it's unprecedented, but it is not final. Abortion is your right, and it is still legal." And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi issuing a joint statement referencing justices like Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch, who have said Roe is settled law, writing the conservative justices have lied to the U.S. Senate, ripped up the Constitution, and defiled both precedent and the Supreme Court's reputation, all at the expense of tens of millions of women who could soon be stripped of their bodily autonomy and the constitutional rights they've relied on for half a century. But the anti-abortion rights group Susan B. Anthony list, writing, "If the draft opinion made public tonight is the final opinion of the court, we wholeheartedly applaud the decision."
If Roe versus Wade is overturned, it doesn't mean that abortion will be illegal in the United States, but it does mean that states individually could decide their own abortion policies. And we've seen dozens of states already preparing for this moment, passing restrictive abortion measures, bans, in anticipation that the court will go this far and give them the green light.
Wow.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos.
So you can see the tides are turning right now, Jamal. They are. You know, the fact that somebody can go out there, have a kid with a man, and then cut the man out of the man's life and then run and get an abortion and kill a baby is crazy. It really is. And a lot of women are using abortion as some sort of, birth control, which is crazy to me. It really is. There's a whole bunch of women out there, Jamal, who claim that if this gets overturned, they're not going to be able to, get the services they need. But in a sense, Jamal, they don't have the morality to understand how damaging that type of behavior is. Right? Let's get away from even Christianity. Let's just talk about just plain universal morality. And nobody under the sun who has good conscience out there would, be in favor of this type of activity. It's quite barbaric at this stage. What do you think?
The same argument they made for abortion, they made for slavery. Let me say that again. The same argument that they made for abortion, they have made for slavery. It's not a human. It's not a human being. That's what they say. It's just a clump of cells. The same argument they gave to justify slavery, they get it over this. That's why tonight I am wearing Unborn Lives Matter. Because you know what? Simple and plain. If you cannot afford to have a child, heifer, stop screwing. Let me say that
Period.
one more time. If you cannot afford to have a child, things are so dire for you, then why you send up there screwing to complicate and make things work? How you gonna broke screw?
Mm-hmm.
It's a word I want to use.
Two broke folks screwing. Two broke folks screwing.
Two broke folks screwing is not gonna create a prince. That's gonna make a broke nigga.
Yep.
Excuse me. And these people sit here. They get together. They get together now, knowing that they cannot afford the situation they in, and they want to have wild sex. You want to have sex? Spermicide. You want to have sex? Condoms. You want to have sex the next day after. But it turns into a financial thing. You want that money from welfare. But abortion was not supposed to be used as a contraceptive. And they are turning abortion into contraceptive. So I'm pregnant. Let me go run and get abortion. No.
Yep.
And and part of this as well, it affects men because it takes men out of their children's life. Who told a woman she the only one that got say-so over a child?
Government.
Who told that woman that's in her belly that that's your, no, you just the oven holding the bread. The bread got its own life. The bread got its own pan, mind, heart, and everything. No woman has 20 fingers, 20 toes, 2 hearts, 2 brains. I'm so glad this decision came out. But, one, they need to do a full investigation and find that leak, because they're going to start intimidating the Supreme Court because liberals can't help themselves. They know the media will cover for them. They know that. As much and painful, they need to, once they pass Roe v. Wade, states that don't have Roe v. Wade, they need to pass laws. If you're going to take your butt over to, across another state to kill that child, knowing you conceived and had that child ill, you need to be charged.
Needs to be. I mean, the way it is right now is absolutely out of control, and it's not right. You know, woman has the right to go and kill the child at any time. And then on top of it, if you have a baby with her out of wedlock, the government says that it's her child too. So you have no rights. It's almost like they treat fathers and men as second-class citizens here. It makes no sense in the world. You know, and then on top of that, she has the right to abscond. And I want folks to understand this. And nobody should even get mad. If women have the right to abort their children and have the right to keep their child, the man has a right to, gosh darn, abscond as well.
Yep.
Isn't that logical, ladies? Makes no sense in the world why you only have the right to get rid of parental responsibilities, but the man can't. It's almost as if the man is at the behest of the woman. And I want the men to understand that's what it is right now. She has the right to kill the child. She has the right to keep the child. It's all up to her. And if these things are true, then men should have the exact same right. They should say, hey, well, I don't want the child. You want the child. Since you have the ability to get have an abortion or to keep it, you need to make that decision. So I want the ladies to understand, don't you run around and get mad at men. Say, hey, you're not taking care of your child, when there's women across this nation who are aborting their children and they're not getting the same slack. Do you understand? I want the women to understand, because that's why the guys don't care anymore.
Nope.
You think the guys care? Hey, you're not taking care of your child, and then they have to deal with the court order, and then they have to deal with this nonsense. You think they care? You're the only person who's cared in the rest of the baby mamas. You have to act in a responsible manner. And what you will see, Jamal, I want to end on this, and I'll have you take over. What you will see is that the responsible women out there who've valued themselves, they waited, they got married to the man that they want, things of this nature, they're not having these problems. They're not. They're happy. I want the women to understand. They're not having these type of problems. Last words here, sir.
This decision does not stop abortion across America. It stops it in your state if you go out and let the legislators know you want it banned.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody keep walking around talking about more people support abortion now than did before. Listen to the question they ask. Do you support abortion for rape, incest, and mother's health? That's what it used to be.
Yep.
But they corrupted and turned it.
And every woman, she would use the term that she got raped to get rid of the child.
And it's just, when you look at people and you see that they done had 1, 2, 3, 4 abortions. Some of them, they say throw that skeleton bone in your closet. Some women got a whole graveyard and it's full with baby bags.
Absolutely. That's what it comes down to. And I always say this, when you see women being responsible with their bodies, you'll see a better population. Men will always try to meet the bar if there's a bar set. And I want the women to understand. Men will wait and try and marry you so that they can claim you. I want folks to understand, and I want the baby mamas just to understand something here before we move on. How embarrassing is it to sit there and have a child alone? Right? Do the baby shower and all it's embarrassing. How embarrassing is it to tell folks that, hey, I'm having a kid, but the guy's not around? It makes you look irresponsible. I want the women to understand that. There are men out there who will want you to have their baby when you're a wife.
Yes.
It's a lot better that way. I want the women to understand that. It's a lot better that way. Because the men actually care about their children when you're the wife. Yeah, they care about it. They don't leave. There's no absconding. You don't see married men absconding their families and leaving like that. You don't see that. And what you see is a man who takes pride in their children and your children especially. I want the women to truly understand that. So pointing it out there. Let's go ahead and move forward. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you do share. I want to speak about the Disinformation Governance Board. Apparently, Biden and these new Luciferians, they're getting tired of the information being out of their hands. So they have a new czar, and they're trying to get everything under control. I want you guys to take a look at this. Here we go.
The Department of Homeland Security tonight is taking on dangerous disinformation. They've created a new board dedicated specifically to tackling that issue, but some lawmakers are raising concerns. Hannah Brandt explains why.
The government is launching a new effort
to prevent disinformation and misinformation from traveling around the country in a range of communities. I'm not sure who opposes that effort.
It turns out some lawmakers do.
They want to police the speech of American citizens. It is absolutely insane.
The Department of Homeland Security insists their new Disinformation Governance Board is meant to combat dangerous misinformation.
Disinformation that imperils the safety and security of our homeland.
The board is brand new, so exactly how they'll do that is unclear. But many Republicans are sounding the alarm bells and even comparing it to the Ministry of Truth from the dystopian novel 1984.
This is nothing more than a blatant attempt to install a ministry of truth. In order to push Biden's propaganda.
Congressman Andrew Clyde calls the board unconstitutional, and Senator Marsha Blackburn says it's censorship.
They're going to say, we're going to step in here and we are going to take control because there are some things we want you to know and there are some things we don't.
The Biden administration argues there's a major need to combat the lies and conspiracies that mislead people and sow division.
There has been a range of disinfo out there about a range of topics. I mean, including COVID, for example, and also elections and eligibility.
But Senator Josh Hawley wants the board to be dissolved.
Just because you disagree with your opponent doesn't mean it's disinformation.
In Washington, I'm Hannah Brandt.
Josh Hawley is hilarious. He said, just because you disagree with your opponent doesn't mean it's disinformation. Sound like a feminist woman out there. It's the logic that they carry. Jamal, this Disinformation Governance Board that is out there, Biden administration says that there's too much disinformation out there that is sowing division and not telling the truth about his great works. I mean, my goodness gracious. I mean, inflation, that's Putin. That's not me. This is what Biden's saying. What do you think about this? You know, is there lies and disinformation? And if there is, where is it coming from? Gosh darn it.
Disinformation was the lies they told all the way from 2016 to 2021. Disinformation is telling that a man can get pregnant.
There you go.
Disinformation is when you have a man 6'2", 240 pounds of solid muscle, and you got him swimming against girls, and he's blowing them out. Before we so-called misinformation, she herself has 3 strikes against her. She sat there and dismissed the Hunter Biden story. This woman has made supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and she messed that up. So no, this woman from disinformation is about one thing and one thing only: to push to silence conservatives and Republicans more.
Absolutely. And since you brought up that little thing she did, I want to show the crowd. I think this is quite cringy. I want you guys to take a look at this.
Pondering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origins are slightly less atrocious. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. It's how you hide a little lie. When Rudy Giuliani shared bad intel from Ukraine, or when TikTok influencers say COVID can cause pain, they're laundering disinfo, and we really should take note and not support their lies with our wallet, voice, or vote. Oh, information laundering is really quite ferocious. It's when a huckster takes some lies and makes them sound precocious by saying them in Congress or a mainstream outlet. So disinformation's origin seems slightly less atrocious.
That's now a law enforcement official. This is somebody with so few useful skills that she describes herself in the first words of her own bio as a, quote, internationally recognized expert on disinformation. As if that's a job of some sort, because Anina Jankowicz is telling all the disinformation is on the other side of the political divide.
Most of the disinformation that we've seen, this highly emotionally manipulative content, is coming from the right. If you look at the top 10, most engaged with posts on Facebook or Twitter on a given day, they are usually posts that are coming from the right. And that's because the right does deal in this highly emotional rhetoric. But there's also folks on the very far left of the spectrum who have been sharing disinformation and engaging in harassment and trolling campaigns.
There's been some criticism of the person who's been chosen to oversee this board. She had previously called the Hunter Biden laptop a Trump campaign product, seeming to discredit its validity or validity of reporting surrounding that. How can you assuage concerns of people who are looking at this person who's been appointed to this position and wondering if she's going to be able to accurately judge misinformation now that
and there you go. So I'm going to stop it right here. So you can see they're asking Raggedy Ann about the disinformation board, but you guys got done seeing that cringy video of her singing. Now that is the czar. I want folks to understand that is her. Last words on this here, sir.
The woman can lie. She can sit here and try all she wants. This ministry of misinformation, disinformation, everybody knows what it's there for. This thing is there for to silence conservatives because they didn't have it. They didn't have it until Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Yup.
Now Facebook is going to be not allowing podcasts. That's right. That's right, everybody. Facebook now is going to stop people from podcasting. So you can't go live stream. So what people going to have to do is upload every single video. No more live streams on Facebook.
Nope.
Because the legacy media is losing to Facebook. People are believing the podcasts other than Facebook. So Ministry of Disinformation, like the ghost of Kyiv, that was a lie.
Another lie. Yeah.
What it Hunter Biden, this Russian misinformation. That was true. Remember? This is surgery for Hunter. Nope, didn't work.
You ain't lying about that. I can tell you, this ministry of disinformation is only there to stop the truth. And let's just be honest. They don't like the way people can change their mind when it comes down to the truth. They really don't like that. They're used to being the arbiters of truth, what people should know and shouldn't know, and now they're not. And that's very hard because in a Luciferian world, they use black magic. Everything is done by telling lies, telling you to believe something that is not true. They're the ones who shape the world that you live in. Without their information, you would be left to your own devices. Do you understand? You would have to shape your own world of how you think and look at people. Imagine that. Yeah, imagine you yourself able to shape your own world without the liberal media telling you what to think and what not to do. They don't like that at all. They don't. So they need to keep the population under check, and they need folks to act and behave in a certain manner. So they're going to do this. I want folks to understand. That's why you see the elites, they're into black magic. They're into that type of stuff because that's what they've been using for centuries. Making up lies, praying to false gods so that they can have power. And this power is shifting. It's getting away from them, and they're mad. They absolutely are. You know, with enlightenment comes freedom. And they don't like that at all. People are being enlightened, and they don't like that. Jamal, buddy, pal, that is our show for tonight. I want to thank you so much for coming on in here, hanging out with us. It was a absolutely beautiful show. I thank you so much. Any last words for our beautiful crowd before we depart here, sir?
Everybody, the liberals are going to come out crazy. They want to intimidate. If you are happy about the decision, you just got to be able to stand and hold your own and not back down.
Yep, you have to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all for coming on in here, hanging out with us. I want to thank everybody for hitting that like button, sharing, and donating. I really do appreciate that. I'll be on tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come and hang out with us. We shall have a very, very good time. So you guys take care, and we'll see you next time with another edition of Conservative Nation. Guys, take care. Love you. Good night.